Life is a journey, and like every journey, it comes with paths that are smooth and roads that are rough. The stations of the cross remind us that the road of life is not meant to be easy. From the very first step, there is a weight, a burden, something that presses down on our shoulders and tests the very core of who we are. It begins with the understanding that hardship is not a sign of failure. It is part of the process, part of the path that shapes us, molds us, and prepares us for what lies ahead. Every fall, every stumble along the way is an invitation to rise stronger than before. When you see someone bearing a heavy burden, think of it as a reflection of the human experience, a mirror to your own struggles. It is not weakness to fall. It is a natural part of being alive. Life demands that we confront our limitations, our fears, and our doubts. The journey is not about avoiding the cross. It is about learning to carry it with dignity and strength. The stations of the cross begin with a step into the unknown. There is a weight placed upon the shoulders of the one who walks this path, just as there is a weight upon each of us in our own lives. Responsibilities, expectations, failures, and disappointments. These are the things that can bend us, can make us feel as though we cannot move forward. But the beauty of the journey is that it is step by step, station by station. No one expects you to carry everything all at once. The path is structured in such a way that we can endure, that we can persevere, and that we can learn the lessons hidden within each struggle. Life's challenges are designed not to break us, but to strengthen us, to awaken resilience and courage that may have been lying dormant within us. As we walk through the stations, we realize that life is not linear. There are moments of suffering followed by moments of relief, moments of confusion followed by moments of clarity. Each station represents a moment of reckoning, a pause to reflect on our choices, our actions, and the burdens we carry. In our own lives, there will be moments when we feel alone, when the weight seems too heavy to bear. But just as the journey continues despite the fall, our lives continue, and we are called to rise, to take another step, to press forward. The first station is a reminder that the journey begins even before we feel ready, and it is in that beginning that the foundation of resilience is laid. The road is never perfect, and the burden is never light. Yet there is a profound lesson in the struggle, that life's difficulties are not meant to paralyze us, but to propel us into growth, into understanding, into the realization that we are stronger than we know. Every trial, every stumble, every moment of doubt is a chance to rise, to strengthen our faith, and to embrace the journey with courage. It is the journey itself, the act of moving forward despite the weight, that shapes character, forms endurance, and teaches us the profound truth that we are capable of more than we ever imagined. Life in all its complexity asks us to walk the path with steadfastness, to carry our burdens with purpose, and to find in the struggle the seeds of transformation. Every burden we carry in life, every trial that presses down upon us is not without purpose. It may feel heavy, unfair, or even unbearable at times, but within that weight lies a message, a lesson, a hidden opportunity for growth. The stations of the cross teach us that suffering is never meaningless. It is part of a divine plan that is working in ways we may not yet understand. Life will place obstacles before us, and there will be moments when the load seems far too heavy to bear. But those moments are not the end of the story. They are the beginning of transformation. Every challenge, every heartache, every moment of despair carries within it the potential to refine us, to make us stronger, and to reveal a resilience we did not know we possessed. The cross itself is not just a symbol of suffering. It is a symbol of purpose, of intentionality, of a journey that has meaning, even in the midst of pain. When you encounter hardships, it is easy to ask, why me? It is natural to feel frustrated when life seems unfair. Yet the stations of the cross remind us that suffering is not necessarily a punishment, nor is it a sign of failure. It is instead an invitation to rise above, to discover the hidden strength that comes only when we face adversity head on. Each trial is a teacher, each struggle is a lesson, and each burden carries with it an opportunity to grow closer to the truth of who we are and what we are capable of achieving. Life's difficulties are designed to awaken the courage within us, to challenge us to move beyond the limitations we place on ourselves, and to deepen our understanding of love, compassion, and perseverance. There is a transformative power in embracing our struggles rather than resisting them. When we resist, when we fight against the inevitable, we drain ourselves of energy and hope. But when we accept the weight, when we acknowledge it and step forward anyway, something miraculous happens. The burden begins to refine us instead of defining us. Suffering becomes a forge, and we become stronger, wiser, and more compassionate through the experience. The stations of the cross show us that even when the path is marked by pain, each step is purposeful. Each fall, each tear, each moment of doubt is shaping us into a version of ourselves that is capable of enduring, loving, and triumphing over adversity. In life, there will be moments when the load is heavier than we imagined, when it feels as if the weight will crush us entirely. But it is precisely in those moments that we are called to remember that purpose exists within the pain. There is a reason for the struggle, a lesson embedded in the heartache, and a destiny waiting beyond the trials. To carry a burden faithfully, to walk through suffering with hope and determination, is to participate in a process that transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary, the weak into the strong, and despair into hope. Every challenge faced with courage and every burden carried with faith becomes a testimony, a living witness to the power of endurance, the strength of purpose, and the grace that sustains us through life's most difficult seasons. Resilience is not something we are born with, it is something we cultivate, something we build step by step, trial by trial. The stations of the cross remind us that life will test our limits, push us beyond what we think we can bear, and place obstacles in our path that seem insurmountable. And yet it is precisely in these moments of trial that resilience is forged. Every fall, every setback, every moment when the weight of life seems unbearable is an opportunity to rise again, stronger, wiser, and more determined than before. Life does not ask us to remain unscathed. It asks us to remain faithful, to keep moving forward even when our legs are tired, our spirits are weary, and our hearts are heavy. The power of resilience lies not in avoiding the fall, but in refusing to remain on the ground. When we examine the journey of the cross, we see a figure who stumbles under the weight yet rises again and again. The path is not straight and the burden is not light. Each station represents a moment of trial, a moment of confrontation with pain, betrayal, and exhaustion, and yet the journey continues, not because the individual is invincible, but because there is an unwavering commitment to purpose. This is the essence of resilience. Moving forward not because the path is easy, but because the destination is worth every step, every struggle, and every tear. In our own lives, we are called to develop the same unwavering spirit. We are called to rise after failure, to stand after disappointment, and to press on even when hope feels distant. Resilience also teaches us patience. The journey of life is not a sprint. It is a marathon filled with detours, obstacles, and moments when progress seems imperceptible. The stations of the cross illustrate that endurance is a process, not an event. Each step, no matter how small, matters. Each effort to rise after a fall strengthens the muscles of the spirit. Each act of courage in the face of adversity builds the foundation for future triumphs. We must learn to view setbacks not as defeats, but as training grounds, opportunities to stretch beyond our comfort zones and discover the depths of our inner strength. Moreover, resilience is rooted in faith. Faith in ourselves, faith in a higher purpose, faith that the struggles we endure are not in vain. Life will challenge us with circumstances beyond our control, betrayal by friends, loss of loved ones, financial hardships, and moments of deep personal doubt. Yet, resilience allows us to continue forward despite these challenges. It is a conscious choice to rise again, to refuse to be defined by circumstances, and to embrace the belief that there is meaning even in suffering. Finally, resilience transforms us. Every fall we recover from, every burden we bear with courage, every time we choose to move forward in faith adds to our strength, shapes our character, and prepares us for the greater challenges yet to come. Resilience is not merely surviving, it is thriving in the face of adversity, discovering power in weakness, and finding hope in despair. It is the heartbeat of the human spirit, the force that carries us through life's storms, and the reason we can face each day with courage and determination, knowing that every obstacle overcome is a step closer to the life we are destined to live. There is a profound power in choosing love, forgiveness, and sacrifice in the face of adversity, even when the world expects anger, bitterness, or revenge. The stations of the cross remind us that true strength is not measured by how we strike back, but by how we respond with grace under pressure. When confronted with betrayal, pain, or injustice, the natural human reaction is often to lash out, to hold grudges, to nurse resentment. Yet the journey of the cross demonstrates a higher path, a path where love prevails, where forgiveness transforms, and where sacrifice becomes a powerful testimony of faith and character. Choosing to forgive does not mean condoning wrongs. It means refusing to allow the actions of others to define us or steal the peace that is rightfully ours. There is freedom in forgiveness, liberation in releasing anger, and strength in walking forward despite the wounds that have been inflicted. Sacrifice is another cornerstone of this journey. Life will demand that we give, that we serve, that we put the needs of others above our own comfort or convenience. Sacrifice is not easy. It is never meant to be. The stations of the cross show us that greatness is often born out of selflessness, that the highest forms of courage are displayed when we choose to endure suffering for the benefit of others. Sacrifice does not diminish our value, it amplifies it. Each act of selflessness, each choice to endure hardship for the sake of a higher purpose strengthens our spirit and deepens our capacity for love, compassion, and empathy. When we embrace sacrifice willingly, we align ourselves with a power far greater than ourselves, a power that transforms ordinary pain into extraordinary purpose. Forgiveness, love, and sacrifice work together to create resilience in the heart and peace in the soul. Life will test us with circumstances that are unjust, relationships that fail, and opportunities that are lost. Yet in these trials, we have the opportunity to respond differently, to rise above natural impulses, and to embrace a higher standard of living. Forgiving those who hurt us releases us from the bondage of bitterness. Loving in the face of hatred strengthens our hearts. Sacrificing in the midst of hardship reveals our inner power and connects us to a purpose larger than ourselves. These choices are not easy, and they are not meant to be, but they define the quality of our lives and the legacy we leave behind. The cross teaches that true victory is not found in retaliation or in avoiding suffering, but in responding with courage, humility, and grace. There is a profound dignity in enduring wrongs without hatred, in shouldering burdens with patience, and in walking a path of love even when it seems easier to give in to anger. Every act of forgiveness, every moment of love, every choice to sacrifice strengthens the spirit and sets an example for others to follow. Life's challenges become opportunities to demonstrate character, to teach others the power of grace, and to cultivate an inner resilience that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. Ultimately, embracing forgiveness, love, and sacrifice allows us to participate in a process of transformation. It turns pain into purpose, hardship into wisdom, and trials into testimonies. When we choose this path, we discover that the weight of life, though heavy, is bearable. That wounds, though deep, can heal, and that suffering, though real, can be transformed into a journey of empowerment and spiritual growth. The Stations of the Cross are not just a story of suffering. They are a story of how choosing love, forgiveness, and sacrifice can elevate the human spirit and reveal the extraordinary power within each of us. Life has a way of testing us in ways we do not expect, placing obstacles before us that seem insurmountable and asking us to endure hardships that challenge the very core of our being. The Stations of the Cross illustrate this truth in a profound way, showing us that suffering is not random, meaningless, or a punishment. It is a process, a passage, a refining fire that shapes the character, spirit, and purpose within us. Every trial we encounter carries within it a hidden lesson, a chance to grow stronger, and an opportunity to move closer to the person we were meant to become. Suffering is not merely an unfortunate part of life. It is a sacred tool that can transform ordinary human experience into extraordinary spiritual growth. When we face trials, our first instinct is often to resist, to avoid, to run away from the pain that confronts us. But resilience, growth, and transformation are found not in avoidance, but in engagement. Life asks us to face our hardships with courage, to confront the difficulties head on, and to allow them to teach us lessons we would not otherwise learn. The Stations of the Cross reveal that suffering, when embraced with faith and understanding, has the power to refine us, deepen our compassion, and expand our capacity for love and empathy. Pain, disappointment, and setbacks become teachers, offering insights into our own strength, patience, and perseverance. There is a transformative power in understanding that suffering is part of a greater purpose. The trials we endure are not meaningless. They are preparing us for something greater. Every fall we recover from, every tear we shed, every moment of despair we rise above contributes to our growth. The journey through hardship shapes our character, strengthens our resolve, and teaches us that our limitations are not final. Challenges are not walls to block our path. They are doors to new opportunities, invitations to rise above, and tests of our faith and endurance. Those who learn to embrace suffering as part of life's sacred journey discover a power within themselves that cannot be shaken by circumstance. The Stations of the Cross remind us that transformation often comes through struggle. Each station tells a story of endurance, of patience, of faith in the midst of adversity. When we walk through our own trials, we are called to see beyond the immediate pain to the greater purpose behind it. Suffering teaches us humility, resilience, and perseverance. It challenges us to grow beyond what we thought possible and prepares us for the responsibilities, blessings, and opportunities that lie ahead. The cross itself is a symbol not of defeat, but of triumph. Triumph that comes not by avoiding pain, but by confronting it with courage, grace, and faith. Moreover, embracing trials transforms not only our character, but also our perspective on life. We begin to see that setbacks are temporary, hardships are not permanent, and every difficulty carries within it a seed of growth. Transformation through suffering allows us to rise above bitterness, anger, and despair. It equips us to handle future challenges with wisdom and strength. Life's difficulties, when faced with faith and perseverance, become stepping stones to greatness, and the pain we endure becomes part of the story of our resilience, courage, and ultimate victory. The final lesson of the Stations of the Cross is a lesson in hope, triumph, and the power of perseverance. Life will place trials before us that seem impossible to overcome, moments when despair threatens to overwhelm, and burdens that weigh so heavily on our shoulders that it feels as if we cannot take another step. Yet the journey through the cross teaches us that these moments are not the end of the story. They are the gateway to transformation and victory. Every trial we face, every burden we carry, and every fall we endure is shaping us, preparing us, and guiding us toward a greater purpose. The resurrection, the culmination of the journey, is a reminder that what seems like the end is often just the beginning. It is a powerful truth. Hope emerges from suffering, light overcomes darkness, and life triumphs over despair. When we reflect on the stations of the cross, we see that the path is not easy. There is pain, rejection, betrayal, and exhaustion. But through every station, there is a consistent message. Perseverance matters, faith matters, and the choices we make in the midst of adversity define our ultimate destiny. Life will not always be fair, and challenges will come when we least expect them. Yet these challenges are opportunities in disguise. They are invitations to rise, to stand firm, and to keep moving forward even when the weight of the world seems unbearable. The journey teaches us that victory is not given to the strongest or the smartest, but to those who refuse to give up, to those who continue walking step by step, station by station, trusting that the path leads to redemption and fulfillment. Hope is born in the darkest of moments. The stations of the cross show us that even when all seems lost, there is a promise of new beginnings, a promise that perseverance will be rewarded, and a promise that the struggle is preparing us for a life of purpose and impact. When we carry our own crosses, whether they are personal challenges, relational difficulties, or moments of deep spiritual testing, we must remember that endurance transforms suffering into strength. Every tear shed, every moment of doubt overcome, and every step taken in faith is a preparation for a greater victory that lies just beyond the struggle. The resurrection reminds us that life is not defined by our hardships, but by our ability to rise above them with courage, faith, and determination. Triumph over adversity is not a distant hope. It is a living reality for those who walk faithfully through the storms of life. The stations of the cross teach that suffering is temporary, transformation is possible, and hope is ever present. When we embrace the journey, we discover that every burden carries meaning, every struggle develops character, and every fall is an opportunity to rise higher than we ever imagined. Life's crosses are not meant to destroy us. They are meant to prepare us, to strengthen us, and to lead us into the fullness of our potential. Ultimately, the stations of the cross remind us that the journey through life, with all its trials, pain, and setbacks, is not without purpose. Each struggle, each burden, and each moment of suffering is shaping us for victory. The hope that emerges from perseverance, the light that follows the darkness, and the triumph that comes after the cross are not distant dreams. They are the promise of life transformed. When we walk faithfully through our own trials, we step into a story of redemption, resilience, and ultimate victory, knowing that what seems impossible today is the foundation of the glory we will experience tomorrow.